Hey Pokemon Champions, it's Champion Blaze here, and Pokemon Master Journeys has recently given us a brand new version of its opening theme song, 1, 2, 3. In this version of the theme song, we have amazing, beautiful, and flawless animation, much focus on Go, Koharu, and Ash, but it's also been confirmed that many characters will be returning back to the anime from prior appearances in Pokemon Journeys, as well as returning for the very first time in over 5 or 10 years. Some of these characters include Wallace from the Hoenn region and Clement from the Kalos region, but more notably, Paul from the Sinnoh region from Diamond and Pearl will be returning to the Pokemon anime. This blew everybody's mind, myself included, because Paul is one of the most beloved characters from the Pokemon anime. Ever since Pokemon Journeys first aired, it's been long speculated that Paul would be returning to the anime. He would be on everybody's list. Many people want Ash and him to have a battle once again, but many people also believe that he will be in the Masters 8 of the PWC. So if he is in the Masters 8, what would his team be? What new Pokemon would he have if he's been traveling the world just like Ash had been? Well, in today's video, we're going to discuss what his potential team could be for the Masters 8 of the PWC. Of course, this is all speculation, and we'll have to wait for Paul's actual appearance in the anime to see what team he'd be using and what Pokemon he'll have. But for now, let's dive right in to Paul's potential team in the Masters 8. When Paul does return to Pokemon Journeys, there's no doubt in my mind that he is going to be in the Masters 8 of the PWC, or at the very least, in the Hyper class. But in order to reach the Hyper class, he, just like Ash, is going to need the strongest team of Pokemon he has had yet. Paul is going to need immensely strong Pokemon on his team, just like Ash is using Lucario and Dragonite. With that being said, where are these powerful Pokemon going to come from, and what would he capture? Well, back in the Diamond and Pearl series, we did learn that Paul, just like Ash, had also traveled through Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn. So therefore, he had the same amount of experience that Ash did. So I believe after the events of Sinnoh, I think he would definitely travel through Unova, Kalos, and either Alola or Galar, depending on how the writers want to write his story. So the team I'm going to craft for Paul today is going to combine a lot of new Pokemon from newer generations along with the old Pokemon he's already had back in Diamond and Pearl. So the first Pokemon on Paul's team that he has to have is definitely going to be his ELECTIVIRE. ELECTIVIRE was basically Paul's pseudo-starter. His real starter was his Torterra, but Paul used ELECTIVIRE so much that might as well have been his official starter Pokemon. With Paul's very first introduction, we see him with Elekid by his side. Elekid eventually continued to battle against Ash, help him get his first gym badge against Rourke, and had many battles as an Electabuzz against Ash, more notably at Lake Acuity, and then evolved into ELECTIVIRE and gave us one of the best battles in Pokemon history with ELECTIVIRE versus Infernape. With ELECTIVIRE being the powerhouse Pokemon that it is, with its tentacles providing great strategic value in battle as shown in the battle he had against Ash at the Sinnoh League, but also having moves like Thunder Punch, Brick Break, and Protect, ELECTIVIRE would be very strategic and vital in getting Paul to the Hyper class and even into the Masters 8. With how much Paul has used ELECTIVIRE and how strong it is and the bond that they have, there's no doubt that the headliner of his team would definitely be his ELECTIVIRE. The second Pokemon I think Paul would add to his team in order to be in the PWC would be his AGGRON. Now we saw Paul's AGGRON as a Lairon when he battled Brandon up at Snow Point City, and then we saw it again when it was an AGGRON at the Sinnoh League. By having this Pokemon on his team, he'd bring to the table the highly defensive Steel type, which would bring a lot of resistances to him, and that would definitely help if he ever ended up battling Leon in the PWC. But there's a specific reason that I'm choosing AGGRON among all of his other Pokemon, and that's because out of all of Paul's Pokemon that he owns, AGGRON is the only one that can Mega Evolve. With Ash having access to Mega Lucario, I think it's important that he gets a Pokemon of his own that can Mega Evolve. I also find it really interesting that both of Ash and Paul's Mega Evolve Pokemon are both Steel type. Now, while AGGRON wasn't one of Paul's stronger Pokemon, it definitely did a number in his battle against Ash at the Sinnoh League. But there's no doubt with the power of a Mega AGGRON on his team, there's no way he wouldn't be using that in his journey in the PWC in the Hyper class. So now that we've covered Electivire and Aggron, from here on out I will be giving Paul entirely brand new Pokemon team members from other regions that came after Sinnoh. When making the team, I definitely was thinking about other Pokemon such as Honchkrow or his Weavile, but I just thought those Pokemon didn't get enough screen time to warrant returning them on his team. I think the brand new picks that I'm going to showcase here for Paul are ones that he definitely would capture, fit his battling style and his personality, and are definitely among some of the stronger Pokemon that could be used from future generations after Sinnoh. Continuing with spot number 3, I definitely think he would travel to Galar and get a Grimmsnarl on his team. Now, you may already be thinking that Grimmsnarl is the ace Pokemon of Marnie, and we recently saw Grimmsnarl used against Ash in a Hyperclass battle, but I've always said from day one that of all the Galar region Pokemon, I believe Grimmsnarl is the one that fits Paul and his battling style the best. It's very similar and reminiscent of how Electivire can battle. The hair on Grimmsnarl's body can be used to grab hold of the opponent, immobilize them, similar to the tentacle strategy that Electivire used against multiple of Ash's Pokemon in the Sinnoh League. Grimmsnarl is a Dark Fairy type, and those fiendish tactics and the strength that comes with the Dark Fairy typing is one that would be very vital to getting Paul very ahead in the PWC to the Hyperclass. Grimmsnarl also offers Paul the ability to Gigantamax, which gives him 2 out of the 3 battling mechanics that Ash has access to. The whole devilish and playful aesthetic that Grimmsnarl gives off in its design is definitely one that suits Paul and the composition of his team. And by adding the Fairy type to Paul's team as well as the Dark typing, it provides a lot of coverage and a lot of strength in typing alone. So I definitely think on his travels through Galar, he would pick up a Grimmsnarl. Moving into spot number 4, I definitely think Paul would travel to Unova and catch an ACCELGOR. Now, the reason I believe he would use an ACCELGOR is because Paul has a great bug type on his team already, that being Ninjask. Ninjask was a pretty tough Pokemon that Ash had fought against in the Sinnoh League, even doing some damage to Ash's Infernape. ACCELGOR shares that same stealthy, fast ninja aesthetic that Ninjask also had on his team in the Sinnoh League. On top of it, if we look at the base stat totals of ACCELGOR, that speed stat is through the roof. Now, while Ash in his battling style is more focused on unpredictability combined with speed and power, but with Paul's battling style, he's more strategic and tactical. While many of his Pokemon are not that fast, Ninjask probably being the fastest one on his team alongside Honchkrow and Weavile, Paul definitely likes to battle with speed and power just like Ash, even though he focuses a bit more on that power. I think ACCELGOR being a great bug type from the Unova region would be a great addition to Paul's team. In the penultimate spot, Paul would definitely have gone to the Kalos region by now, and on his travels there, he would definitely have picked up Pangoro. Now, while Pangoro does give him 2 dark types on his team, the difference with Pangoro is that this is a fighting type Pokemon, and I believe adding a fighting type to his team would be great for him. And on top of it, that kind of lone warrior, big thug vibe that Pangoro gives off with its dark and fighting typing is definitely an aesthetic that would fit Paul's team. With Paul being very brutal in his battling style in the past, something like Pangoro would be a great fit for him. On top of it, the size and bulk of Pangoro is very reminiscent of his Ursaring. It's also got similar bulk, similar to that of Electivire, as well as Torterra and Magmortar. So these new Pokemon from newer generations also share very great qualities with the older Pokemon on his team. When Pangoro gets angry, it's definitely a strong contender in battle. So I believe if he took a stop to Kalos, he would definitely be adding Pangoro to his team. Now, in the final slot on Paul's team, I think he would also pick up a Corviknight from the Galar region. Now, you're probably wondering why I didn't choose any Pokemon from the Alola region to give to Paul, but don't get me wrong, while I love the Pokemon in Generation 7, I just really didn't think a lot of the Pokemon in Generation 7 would fit Paul's battling style, the aesthetic and composition of his team, or would they fit his personality and battling style overall. And for the very few Pokemon that I did think would fit his aesthetic and his battling style, they were already iconic among various other trainers in the region. For instance, a perfect example of a Pokemon from Alola I thought would fit Paul's team was Incineroar, but of course Ash and Kukui already own Incineroar, and therefore they have become iconic in that sense, so I didn't want to give a third Incineroar trainer to the anime. But Corviknight being a primary flying type and also giving him another steel typing, so he would have a very defensive team. I think Corviknight, with how edgy and tough and sturdy and durable it looks, Corviknight is not going to take any crap from any Pokemon in battle, and it's going to put the hurt on a lot of Paul's opponents throughout the PWC. Any person who has used a Corviknight in a Sword and Shield playthrough definitely knows how strong it is. And definitely adding a flying typing gives him good coverage among many other types on his team as well. And on top of it, Paul also did want to catch a Starly at the beginning of his journey in the Sinnoh region, but he released them, and his flying type ended up becoming Honchkrow. So with that edgy vibe that Honchkrow gave off, I believe it's also reciprocated in the design of Corviknight. Corviknight would be a great Pokemon for him to add to his team. So if Paul joins the PWC and gets to the Hyper Class or even the Masters 8, his final team of 6 is going to be ELECTIVIRE, GRIMMSNARL, AGGRON, ACCELGOR, PANGORO, and Corviknight. However, we're not going to stop there, as I am going to give him 3 Pokemon he can keep in rotation. 3 Pokemon he focuses on primarily among all his others, and I believe those 3 Pokemon would be his Torterra, Ursaring, and Drapion. Torterra is a great choice because it actually did some damage against Cynthia's Garchomp in the Diamond and Pearl series, and on top of it, it did some damage against Ash's Pokemon in their battle at Lake Acuity. Torterra is stated to be Paul's strongest Pokemon. It sports the Grass Ground typing, so that provides more coverage. So with this being his official starter Pokemon, there's no way that Paul would not carry Torterra in rotation on his team. I've decided that Paul would keep Ursaring in rotation because Ursaring was one of the most consistently used Pokemon that Paul used throughout the Diamond and Pearl series. He caught it early on in Diamond and Pearl in Bewilder Forest after they were trying to get out of that forest. He has Chimchar use a Flame Wheel against Ursaring and then immediately captures it, and it goes on to be one of the strongest members of his team. Now while it missed out in the 6v6 at the Sinnoh League between Ash and Paul, it definitely did a number against Ash's Pokemon in their battle at Lake Acuity. And it even did damage against Barry in the Sinnoh League as well, so this monster powerhouse Pokemon would definitely be kept in rotation as part of the training group. And lastly, I'm mentioning Drapion because Drapion is also one of Paul's strongest Pokemon. Have your Poison Dark type, and I know this is a 3rd Dark type for him to keep on his team in rotation, but Drapion is just so strong that it withstood a Giga Impact from Ash's Gliscor and knocked out half of Ash's team in the Sinnoh League. That is an impressive feat to accomplish when you sweep half of somebody's team in the Sinnoh League. On top of it, it was also very vital in setting up Toxic Spikes, which dwindled the strength of Ash's team even further. With how powerful Drapion is, there's no way he's gonna leave it with Reggie in Veilstone City. So there we go, Pokemon Champions. That is the team of 6 that I have constructed along with 3 Pokemon in rotation that I believe Paul would use if he's going to take part in the Hyper Class of the PWC and make his way to the Masters 8. But what do you think of these choices? What Pokemon do you believe that Paul would be carrying with him on his journey throughout the PWC? Do you agree with my choices? Are there any other Pokemon he might swap in and out? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and what are you hoping for from a Paul return in Pokemon Journeys? Let's chat about it down below. With that being said, thank you for watching, and until next time, Pokemon Champions, train hard, and I'll catch you guys later.